reacting to the latest injury report that's come out, especially in light of the comments that Caitlin Clark herself made post-game last night. I mean, the gig is up at this point. She said she feels good. She feels fine. Well, if she does, the Indiana Fever should be allowing her to play.
Somewhere between a questionable timeout and an ill-advised social media post, the internet convinced itself that the Indiana Fever were on the verge of turning into a complete basketball soap opera. That's exactly how fans have been treating the Fever in recent weeks. One unexpected coaching decision, one surge of online backlash, and suddenly Los Angeles is being portrayed as the perfect destination, ready to lure away the league's biggest star with a massive contract. Is Caitlin Clark really on her way to Hollywood, or has the basketball rumor mill completely spiraled out of control? Either way, the truth behind the story is far more unbelievable than it initially seems.
When you talk about interest declining, when you start looking up some 2024 numbers and compare them to the numbers we saw last night, ouch. Yikes. Wow. The Indiana Fever were in LA last night. The first time Caitlin Clark made her arrival in Los Angeles.
There is something almost unbelievable about watching the sport's biggest star become the focus of every discussion except the one that truly matters. Every time Caitlin Clark steps onto the court, the entire arena turns into a major event, drawing excitement and attention unlike anything else in the league.
Caitlin Clark continues to be a lightning rod in the WNBA, creating conversation whether she means to or not, and she's now firing up talks about all-star voting. WNBA great Candace Parker, in her Post-Moves podcast with Clark's Fever teammate Aaliyah Boston, blasted WNBA players for their lack of participation in player voting and for picking Clark 11th among guards. So fans here account for 50% of the vote to determine starters for the WNBA.
Tickets sell out in a matter of hours. Television audiences continue to grow. Visiting fans pack arenas just for the chance to see her launch one of her trademark deep three-pointers, and opposing coaches spend days putting together defensive game plans built entirely around containing her.
The W at this junction in time would be better without Caitlin Clark because she is a bigger distraction than she is an additive. Now people are watching. Now we realize, oh, there's talent in the W. Talent that's actually even greater than Caitlin Clark. And I'm not just talking about bigs like Asia. I'm talking about the Olivia Miles. I'm talking about the Paige Beckers. Hell, I'm talking about the Kelsey Mitchells. Caitlin got the necessary eyes there. But now that the eyes are there, we don't necessarily need her anymore.
Emmanuel Akko pissed off a lot of Caitlin Clark fans when he made these comments last week. But believe it or not, Emmanuel Akko is not.
Even so, the biggest conversation surrounding the Indiana Fever has drifted away from their postseason goals and toward a far more unsettling question. Is the organization truly making the most of the player who has emerged as the face of the league?
It's about comparing what happened after the final buzzer. I went through multiple Indiana Fever post-game locker room videos and noticed some striking differences in the team's energy, Stephanie White's reactions, and the overall atmosphere depending on who was on the floor and who wasn't on the floor. So we're going to compare celebrations after wins with and without Caitlin Clark. We're going to look at the body language. We're going to revisit Stephanie White's comments about Kelsey Mitchell, and we're going to discuss why I believe this long-standing relationship may be influencing decisions inside the organization.
The discussion intensified when Clark made her return from injury under a carefully controlled minutes restriction. Fans expected to watch one of basketball's biggest stars gradually regain her rhythm, but many were left confused by the way she was being rotated. Clark would spend a few minutes on the floor, head back to the bench, ride the stationary bike for a while, and then check back into the game later. From a medical standpoint, the strategy reflected the organization's effort to prevent another injury and ease her safely back into action. Many passionate fans, however, believe the repeated interruptions made it nearly impossible for Clark to find any offensive rhythm, and criticism of the coaching staff quickly spread across social media. Basketball has always been a sport where public perception can move much faster than reality. Some supporters defended the approach, arguing that the medical staff deserved patience because protecting the franchise's cornerstone mattered far more than the outcome of a single regular season game. Others questioned whether the handling of Clark's return was being managed effectively. Before long, what started as a discussion about conditioning turned into a much larger debate centered on trust, communication, and leadership. Much of that criticism eventually fell on head coach Stephanie White. Leading a team with a player as popular as Caitlin Clark may be one of the toughest jobs in modern sports, where nearly every coaching decision is dissected and turned into a national headline.
Talk about a debacle. Talk about a straight up embarrassment and a debacle. This is embarrassing. What the Indiana Fever are doing with Caitlin Clark. We got Stephanie White at the podium, Kelsey Mitchell at the podium. They're pretty much throwing Caitlin Clark under the bus, especially Stephanie White. They basically feel like they don't need her. They don't need her. At this point, they just need to move on and break this relationship up. Send Caitlin Clark off so you guys can do your thing in Indiana.
Rotations that would barely attract local attention for most franchises suddenly become national talking points whenever Caitlin Clark is involved. Every timeout, substitution, late-game possession, and post-game comment is analyzed in incredible detail by millions of fans who are convinced they know exactly how things should have unfolded. Stephanie White has consistently maintained that her top priority is finding the right balance between achieving immediate results and protecting Clark's long-term health. That explanation, however, has not satisfied many frustrated fans, especially those who believe Indiana's offense operates on an entirely different level when Clark is running the show. Her remarkable shooting range forces defenses to extend several feet beyond the three-point line, completely changing the spacing on the court in ways only a handful of players ever have. Opposing defenders often begin guarding her the moment she crosses midcourt because they understand she has both the confidence and the ability to knock down shots from distances that once seemed unrealistic. Los Angeles Sparks coach Lynn Roberts has openly spoken about the impact Clark has on the game, explaining that Indiana becomes far more dangerous whenever she is on the court. According to Roberts, Clark's ability to push the pace allows transition opportunities to develop into points almost instantly, making the Fever much more difficult to defend. She also pointed out that guarding Clark starts much farther from the basket than it does against nearly any other player, since giving her even the slightest amount of space can lead to an immediate three-point shot.
This is women's professional basketball, right? This is pro basketball, right? If a player is healthy enough to play, they should play. I understand it's Alyssa Thomas. It's the Phoenix Mercury, although I thought I saw that Alyssa Thomas may not even play in this game. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right? There's a lot of players in this league that don't like Caitlin Clark. We all know that. I venture to say I bet we could find one on every team.
As praise for Caitlin Clark continued to grow around the league, fans became captivated by another storyline: the possibility of her one day reuniting with longtime friend Kate Martin on the Los Angeles Sparks. Every friendly interaction between the two, whether it was a post-game hug or a smile during warm-ups, quickly fueled online speculation about a future partnership. In reality, there has been no credible indication that Indiana is considering moving Clark. Trading a player of her caliber would involve enormous financial, competitive, and organizational challenges, especially given that the Fever have built their future around her. Still, the rumors continue because Clark's influence is so significant that even ordinary moments can spark major conversations across the basketball world.